goodness, it's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Neil Funk, Jimmy G, buckets, gets buckets. Oh my goodness, give me the hot sauce, Neil Funk, give me the hot sauce.
What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs.
Hey, what's going on? Give me the hot sauce fans. We hope you missed us last week. We were away for a brief time, spring break, involving a lot of people getting some vacation, some much-deserved time away, except for Stacey. He's working all the time. Stacey joining us from his hotel room in Dallas, where the Bulls are getting ready to play the Dallas Mavericks on Friday. That game doesn't mean much in the standings, but I guess it'll be a chance to try to work out some kinks for the play-in. Stacey, before we get to that, I want to talk to Whispers about his spring break trip. Tell us about Florida. How did that go for you?
Between sand, sunburn, and Maddie, our producer, hitting on cops, it was great.
Oh, come on. You got to give some more details if you're going to drop that.
Oh, there was this handsome cop walking by, and Maddie goes, hello. And then her mom, my twin sister, she took over and started hating on the cop. So Maddie lost out to Kim's charm.
So, Stacey, you're not going to be able to see Larry the Lobster here. You know, he was a week in Florida. Definitely had an impact.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that. I'm trying to figure it out. I got a black screen. I'm sitting there like I'm in the sunken place.
You're in witness protection.
Yeah, I don't know what this is, man. This is not. Oh my God, this is weird.
Well, so we can see you.
So obviously,
you see me?
Yeah.
So Stacey, obviously, you've been riding the roller coaster with this Bulls team. The game on Sunday, the home game against the Memphis Grizzlies, it looked like maybe they had found something. They rallied from 23 points down. There were a lot of positive talk in the locker room. And then a couple of very disappointing losses to the Atlanta Hawks and then in Milwaukee on Wednesday night. What's going on with the team right now? Obviously, they're in the play-in, but they're not going in with a lot of confidence.
Well, it's been very disappointing because, it seemed like after All-Star break, they kind of figured out what they needed to do to get back in this thing. And then, the same thing that's been hampering this team all season long started to, creep back into the reason why they're in this situation in the first place. I don't know what it is. I think the Bulls, honestly, they're one of the best teams for 2.5 quarters in the NBA. If the season was only 2.5 quarters, they might be number one. It just seems like they run out of gas late in games, not able to finish games. I mean, last night in Milwaukee, you're up 10 and you're dominating the Bucks. And then, Milwaukee says, okay, enough's enough. They got a little confidence. Let's shut them down. They went on like a 19-2 run. At one point, it was 17-0. And the Bulls had no answer. They had no way of stopping the run. It was just like, they just got ran over by a semi-truck. And it was a little disappointing, especially, knowing how they played here in the second half.
The defense was so disruptive in that Memphis game. They were getting steals, fast break layups, one after the other in that second half when they had that huge run. I know Bulls fans are all wondering, why can't they play like that more often, Stacey?
Well, I think that's been the magical question, all season long. They beat good teams and they beat them convincingly. And then they come back and, they lay an egg the next game. They don't come out with the same energy. I always say, man, you might want to invest in some 5-hour energy to start the game because, the way they start games, they get themselves down 13, 15 points. And then they have to work so hard to get back in, and they run out of gas. You got to come out in the NBA, man. No one's going to give you anything. You got to come out every night and play hard. And, I'm from the old school. If guys are not ready to play, pull them out, sit them on the bench, and put somebody else in there and give someone else a chance. This is the reason why you have a bench. This is the reason why you have reserves. When guys are not playing good, whether it's a starter, whether it's a guy, one of the main guys or not, you got to send a message to your team that every night you step on the court, doesn't matter who it is, you're expected to play hard. The expectations are to play hard and compete. If you're not scoring, just scoring alone, Mark, is not playing hard. When you say, oh, guy's not scoring, he's not playing hard. You can do other things. You can rebound, you can get assists. You definitely can guard people. And they just defensively, it's almost like they feel like they can turn it on and turn it off. They're not good enough to do that. They're not Milwaukee. Milwaukee did that last night. Milwaukee's playing so bad. They're missing Giannis. They're missing Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen. And they are probably one of the deepest teams in the NBA. Let's just be honest. They're probably one of the deepest teams. They're going to be a tough out. I honestly feel like it's going to be them in Boston at the end. I think Milwaukee loaded up with big guys just in case they run into Embiid, sooner than they think in the second round or maybe the conference finals. But they're a deep team, man. You put Jay Crowder out there. Now you got the big kid. What is his name? He's been out for like 10 years, and he finally got back in the.
Myers Leonard.
Myers Leonard. Yeah. They broke the ice and got him out and thawed him. So he's on there too. They had some little kid Green last night, 3-point shooter.
Yes.
You got Goran Dragic there too. They got Ingles.
Javon Carter.
They went out, and Javon Carter, I'm telling you, man, like I was watching him last night and just watching him from last year, being a fringe player, being a guy just coming in, change of pace guy. He is a main contributor on that team. He plays really, really, he's a good change of pace guard because he picks up full court. He's tough as hell. He was a defensive player of the year in college. It tells you what kind of player he is defensively. He gets after you, and now he's making shots. He's making 3-point shots. I think he hit 5 last night. And he never against the Bulls has shot the ball that well.
Yeah, Javon Carter, a local kid from Proviso East High School. Hey, I want to ask you about how Billy's holding up through all this. There are some times I watch the post-game news conferences, and it sounds like, "Excuse me, Your Honor, can I treat him as a hostile witness?" Because everybody's giving him a hard time about the slow starts, and they're like, "What's going on? Why can't you get off to a better start?" And Billy's kind of like looking at, "What do you want me to do?" I mean, there's only so much a coach can do. Can you figure out what's going on with these slow starts that have really hurt him in so many games this year?
Well, I mean, listen. I mean, this team is hot and cold. Let's just be honest. I mean, they come out some nights they look great in the first quarter, and there's other nights they come out they look like they don't want to play. Unfortunately, we're seeing more of that, not ready to play in the first quarter. Here's the thing in that Atlanta game. Things were so important. That game was so important, Mark, because both those teams are fighting for, in that play-in game, they're trying to fight for positioning. Because the key is, you play in the play-in game, Mark, but you want a home court game that first one. So you want to be 9. You don't want to be 10. So these teams are fighting to avoid having to play that first game on the road. And there's games left for these teams. You don't know how it's all going to shake out. Guys are going to sit some of their players or whatever. These teams now know they're all in. They just don't know what spot they're going to be in. But if you're the Bulls, your whole goal was like, we got to the playoffs now. We got to now try to make our path easier to at least get a second game in the play-in. And what better way to get a home game in front of our home crowd where we have the advantage over most teams. Now you're looking at possibly having to go open up in Toronto. And Toronto is a very good team at home.
It's a bad matchup, Stacey, with their length.
It's a terrible matchup for the Bulls. And I don't know if they just think they can just show up and play and, we're in now, we're going to win. It's not the case. And, they don't have the ability to just turn it on and turn it off, which you've been seeing. And a lot of times it's been off.
Yeah, now Toronto has Jakob Poeltl to match up with Vucevic inside. I know it's been a recurring theme throughout the season. You mentioned it on just about every game. The Bulls need to get the ball inside the Vucevic in the post and take advantage of those mismatches. The game in Milwaukee, he had 18 points in the first half, and then they just go away from him. I know you're going crazy at the table trying to get them to get the ball inside and work off of Vucevic.
Mark, it's been like that the whole year. This guy, especially when the Bulls are struggling offensively to get offense, they're missing shots. They're not. Listen, they're not a good 3-point shooting team. That's 3-point shooting is not their strengths. They always seem to focus in on their non-strengths instead of focusing on their strengths. Their strengths are mid-range game, transition, and get the ball to Vucevic. Those are your keys to success, and then defending. They want to be kind of like Golden State. They want to shoot threes. They want to get up as many threes as possible. Their shooting percentage does not, equate to being a good 3-point shooting team. So why would you be focusing in on that? And just because you have nights where it's going in, they've had more nights, Mark, where they've missed. And they've been huge, where they've gone like 5 for 30 or 7 for 30 or 42. I mean, those are not good percentages. And when you have a guy like Vucevic who gives you 18 in the first half and then he only scores 3 or 4 in the second half, why is that? Is that basketball IQ? Is that recognition? Like, is that understanding who's got the hot hand? And with a veteran-laden team, you would think they would know these kind of things. And that's what's been more frustrating. I think that frustrates Billy. It's like, we can sit there and say Billy has to implore get the ball on the Vooch. I mean, he should be doing that, because if that's your only offense in in certain quarters when you're having a difficulty scoring, and he's the only offense you got, why wouldn't you go in there? Vooch is a willing passer. When the team double teams, he throws it out. My biggest gripe with Vooch is that he's proven to dominate on the post. He's dominated everybody he's played when he wants to play it down low, but he stays more on the perimeter than he is in the post. And that's very, very frustrating, especially now late in the season when you need that inside scoring, because when you get to the playoffs, when you get to the play-on game, it's not going to be a transition game. It's not going to be an up and down game. It's going to be a pound the ball. It's going to be attack the paint, points in the paint. The Bulls, if they want to advance past the 10-9 game, they're going to have to say, put all egos to the side and say, let's play with the best players. If Vuce got it going, let's stay with it. That means I might only have 18 points. That means I might, Zach might only have 14 points and Vuce has 42, and we win. You got to do what's best for the team at that moment.
Hey, is DeMar okay? We've seen him at times where he gets knocked to the ground. You can see that thigh strain is still bothering him. You see him wincing in discomfort. The Bucks held him to just 8 points. He had a rough shooting night. I know he's going to gut it out. He's always been durable throughout his career. But have you noticed that there's been maybe a drop-off in his athleticism because he's battling that injury?
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't look like he's 100%. DeMar will never say he's hurt. He'll never say he can't go. He's a consummate pro. But I can tell. I'm around him all the time. I see him every night. And, he's not the same. His quickness is not there. You can tell that his leg is bothering him. He's out there trying to gut it out. And kudos to him, man. I mean, that's what leaders do. They're going to go out there and play in pain. They're going out there and play hurt. But he's not 100%. And no one's really 100% at this point of the season. You know that. I mean, guys are banged up all the time, and so it's going to be a decision. Billy's going to have a decision, when it comes down to this playing game, because there is no tomorrow. There is no, hey, we didn't play hard tonight, disappointed why the way we came out. There is no more of that. To these next two games, you can say that. But when you get to the playing game, it's one and done. It's like the NCAA tournament. The best team advances. Right. And if you don't put, get your mind ready for what you're going to be facing, because you got to remember, this is not a playoff. It's a play-in game. The playoff, you got 7 games. Okay, the best team, whoever reaches 4 first wins. But in a playing game, it's one and done. So you can't have a mindset, we got 7 games, or we got 3 games, we got 5 games. It's one game. And if you don't play well, and you don't come out with energy, and you don't come out ready to play, you're going to get blown. The doors are going to get blown out. Because if you have to play Toronto, we've seen what they can do when they are fully healthy. And you get a Siakam healthy, you get Scotty Barnes healthy, playing well. They are tough to beat with their length, their size, and their athleticism.
Yeah, and Nick Nurse has really good strategy against the Bulls. They've got those 6'7" to 6'9" athletes, as you mentioned. They're all switchable, and they love to double-team DeMar and take the ball out of his hands. We know that DeRozan had a good long career in Toronto. He loves to go back and play well against his former team, but they're going to have to come up with a different game plan, Stacey, because the last time they played Toronto, they just took DeMar right out of the game.
Well, they're going to have to move the ball. Like last night in Milwaukee, when the Bulls share the basketball and everybody gets involved, it's a fun thing to watch. They get their assists go up. I think they had 18 assists in the first half by moving the basketball and getting the open shooter. That means that DeMar and Zach may not be scoring, but everyone else is, and they're winning. They're winning the game. So they've got to go back to playing that way. It's hard to play that way, Mark, when your mindset is – well, we played this way in the first half. Let's play a different way in the second half.
And I know you've been extolling the virtues of Coby White. It looks like he may be a guy they consider as a starting point guard for next year, especially considering Lonzo Ball is expected to miss, if not all, most of next season. What have you seen from Coby this year that makes you think that he could handle that job on a full-time basis, Stacey?
Well, first of all, I've been on the Coby White bandwagon all season long, and when everybody was hollering, trade him, get rid of him, get somebody else, I was the one saying, be careful what you wish for, because this is a kid. When he is healthy, he's a big time scorer. He's been a scorer since he came off, his rookie year. He got hurt last year with a shoulder. He missed all of training camp. He would tell you himself that he didn't play like he was capable of playing last year. So a not healthy Kobe last year, and then trying to figure out where his role is. You got Lonzo Ball as your point guard. You got Caruso. You got Io. He didn't know what his role was, and he was kind of shaky last year. But give the kid credit, Mark. He went and worked on his ball handling, which is one of the weakest parts of his game, last year. And he arguably is the Bulls' best ball handler. I mean, he doesn't turn the ball over. His handles are tight. He can get to spaces. He's got a quick first step. The thing I like about Kobe is his defense. He's committed to playing defense. There was a play the other night where he got switched. He got switched on a bigger guy, and he was clearly outmatched. And he just battled. He battled, and they ended up forcing a turnover because he worked hard defensively to circle the post, to not allow the ball to come in, and they threw it away. Matter of fact, I think it was Anthony Davis he was battling. And, clearly he gives up, 30, 40 pounds, but he was battling, he is much improved. Patrick Williams has much improved as the season has gone along. I'm not the front office guy. It's not my job, but I think they've done enough improvement over the season to say, hey, you know what? These kids are going in the right direction. And as we've seen with Lowry, we've seen with other guys who've been on this team, Mark, when you give up on a person too quickly and they go somewhere else and they're superstars, Lowry's a superstar now. We just had him on our team a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and now he's an all-star in the toughest conference. If he puts 2 more years like he did this year, which I don't see him not doing it, we're going to look back on that, and, people are going to look back on that and say, wow, man, the Bulls let one get away.
Hey, did you see the story today that Lowry is going to fulfill his commitment to military service in Finland this summer? That every male, before they turn 30, have to spend some time with the Finnish military? That's a crazy story, isn't it? Can you see a 7-footer there reporting for duty? I'm private marketing reporting for duty, sir.
Well, you know what? That's these guys coming from foreign countries. That's what they're committed to.
Yeah.
You saw Giannis do it. Him, his brother did it in the Greek National Army. There's been guys been doing it in the Turkish now. All these guys who live in the foreign countries, man, that's the responsibility they have for their country. Here in America, we don't have to do that. We're truly blessed not to do that. But could you imagine if guys had to do that here in the United States? You have LeBron in the military. You have all these guys in the military. The players wouldn't know what to do.
What about Stacey King in the military? How would that have gone on?
Well, I'd be a general. I wouldn't go in as a buck private.
You'd start a general, right?
Listen, I'm going as a general. I want to tell people what to do, man, because I've got leadership capabilities. I got leadership skills, and I'm super smart. So you want me out there telling everybody what to do. You don't want to get behind somebody who don't know what they're doing. The next thing you know, we are running into a wall, marching. That's Tim Kelley, the Whispers. He have us marching into the wall, marching into waters like Stripes. No, man, we ain't doing that. Like Bill Murray and Stripes, baby, that's Tim.
Stacey's line is, I'll be right behind you, using you as a shield.
Hey, you ain't lying. Hey, listen, you know how they did in the Revolution. The first group shoots and the other people, when they shoot, the other people duck. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not going to be in the front line back there, bro. I'm going to be in the back. And then as those lines start to disappear, baby, Usain Bolt through the forest. Baby. I'm out of there, baby. Way to go, guys. Hey, listen, man.
There goes our general.
Way to go, baby. Way to fight. I'm getting on that horse, baby. Me and George Washington. Up out of there, baby. We out. Beep, beep.
Hey, we're going to bring in a special guest coming up after a break. Darnell Mayberry, the outstanding Bulls beat writer for The Athletic, is going to join us. Before we bring him in, one last question for Stacey. The MVP race, everybody's got an opinion. We've got a couple of games left this weekend. Joel Embiid had 52 in a win over the Celtics earlier this week. You think that wrapped it up for Embiid?
Yep.
Yeah, I think it did because, Joker has been the most consistent player up until just recently. Denver hit a slide, and they're not playing. He's not playing the same way. They're not playing the same way. And so I think that really hurt them. They lost like the 3 or 4 teams they shouldn't have lost to, and Embiid has just been kind of rolling along. They're going to be a tough out, Mark. So, yeah, I definitely think he's going to win the MVP. I would have loved to see him play against Jokic the night he set out to kind of solidify that. I don't like guys sitting out and, deciding who they want to play against, who they don't. If you're an MVP caliber guy, you want to make it no doubt you're the MVP. Now you go out there and you put 50-something on Jokic, that you win the award right there. So Jason Tatum could be it. Giannis sitting down, I think, he's been playing at all-star level. It's, there's some guys. Hey, listen, you look out in the Western Conference, you got you got guys who won't get any votes like De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, what they've done out there in Sacramento. They won't get any votes, but they easily could, have 1 or 2 votes with the way they played this year in Sacramento, making the first playoff since the man went on the moon. So
thinking of Bulls giveaways, though, do you think Portis is a 6-man?
Portis has had a great year. He's had two.
Portis has a great year. He'll be right up there in the 6-man of the year worth. Listen, he's been consistent in that role in Milwaukee since he's been there. Let's just be honest. He's having that guy come off. He plays multiple positions. He can come in as a starter, give you minutes and points. He can come off the bench. And he's a guy that's happy in his role. How many guys do you know in this league, who's been a starter, and then all of a sudden now they're going to the bench and, he relishes that role. He'll do anything that team needs him to do to win. He took less money to stay in Milwaukee. And that tells you something a little bit about Bobby Portis, that he wants to win. He's a winner. And every time I see him giving us numbers, I just cringe.
25.
Anytime I see anybody give us numbers, I cringe that used to play with us. Just Spencer Dinwiddie, the Tank Commander.
Campaign, The list keeps getting longer, unfortunately.
The list going long and long, man. Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
Wendell.
Hey, when it comes to insurance for your auto, home, and business, make sure you contact the king of insurance, our good buddy, nationwide agent, Jeff Vucevic. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com. That's jeffvuk.com. And if you go to the United Center to catch a Bulls or a Blackhawks game, you might see Jeff sitting in the 100 section with prime ducats because he knows everybody, including the great Stacey King. Stacey, you got a jingle in you from Dallas?
Nationwide is on your side.
Even on the road, it comes through loud and clear. Stacey King delivering from his luxurious 5-star hotel in Dallas. We appreciate it.
It is 5-star.
Hey, the Bulls always travel right. We give them that.
They got me in the penthouse, baby. They got me in the penthouse, baby. I'm much appreciated to the hotel.
All right, coming up next, Darnell Mayberry. More Bulls talk. We'll also look ahead to the upcoming playoffs and get his thoughts on the MVP race as well. That's next on Gimme the Hot Sauce. Things aren't the same as they used to be in the print world, where you used to travel to every game as a beat reporter. Now you got to kind of pick your spots. Has that been frustrating for you in terms of not getting the access, the day-to-day stuff that you'd like to get, especially on the road?
The pandemic really changed my mindset, Mark, when it came to access and how we do the job. You all remember it. We were covering this league over Zoom, and press conferences, pregame and postgame. So that's how we were getting our information from the players and coaches. So having to go from that to this new reality where we can be in the locker room again, I think it's just made me, I can't speak for other reporters, it's made me more efficient and be able to attack the job in a different way. So I feel like I learned a lot going through that pandemic phase where access was cut off to all of us, and we had to think differently. So using that now, I think it's been beneficial.
Well, D, let's just talk Bulls now. We're getting down to the last 2 games of the year. We're in the playing game. We backed into the playing game. You saw the game last night in Milwaukee. What was your opinion of last night's game and what you saw?
I didn't. First of all, Stacey, I got some birdies now. I was at the game, so I couldn't see the broadcast. I got some birdies that were telling me you were talking about how the Bulls were confident against this team. What happened, man? They were up 10, and next thing you know, they lose by 12, 13, whatever.
Listen, D, let me tell you something. You didn't need to bring that up, okay? That was unnecessary, okay? That was unnecessary. I'm still hurting from last night. You know what? It's funny because, I don't even play no more, but I take losses personally. And I thought last night, they had the 10-point lead. They're rolling. They're doing really well. They're moving the basketball, Darnell, and it looked like it was going their way. And then all of a sudden, Milwaukee said, you know what? We're a little bit tired of this. Let's go ahead and put this team away. It was like a lion just laying there, and the hyenas are running around nipping at him, and the lion doesn't do anything. And then all of a sudden, the lion lets everybody know that he's still a lion, and he just kills everything in the way. That's kind of how it was. Did you have the same kind of feeling?
It did feel like that, but Drew Holiday and Brook Lopez, man, we can't underestimate how good those two guys are.
Yes.
Both ends of the floor. It's not like just Drew Holiday is a defender. He had 15 assists. and 8 rebounds. So it's like
Yes.
he's bringing it on both ends. Brooke Lopez is a shot blocker and a three-point shooter. Both of those things give the Bulls trouble. And so you mix Wes Matthews' defense, and some of the role players, Joe Ingles getting into it with Pat Bev. That was an entertaining moment. That's a championship-minded team, and the Bulls ran up against it, and they learned a lesson. It didn't matter that they were without some of their key guys, including Giannis. That team is on a mission. They secured the top seed in the East for a reason.
Darnell, the NBA season is a grind, 82 games over 6 months, and Bulls fans have been pulling their hair out all season long trying to figure this team out. You got a read on what's going on? I know I read your column today saying, there's no way to sugarcoat these kind of games. I mean, not to show up for a game where you got a chance to try to improve your playoff seeding, especially the Atlanta game. I mean, Trae Young was out in that one. You're playing at home. You got a chance to vault ahead of the Hawks and at least get a home game in that first round. Can you put your finger on the slow starts and why we see the same issues over and over and over again with this team?
After 80 games, Mark, would you agree you just have to say that's who they are?
Yeah, so I think you're right.
I don't think you can say that, it's this or that. It's a lot of different things, and that's what Billy Donovan has been talking about all season, and he boils it down to the consistency component where they've just been inconsistent and so many different things all season, and that's been the biggest problem for this team in 2022, 2023.
One of the things I've always said, because I come from the old school, and Phil Jackson would do this, and a lot of coaches in college would do this, is when guys don't come ready to play, there's a reason why you have reserves. There's a reason why you have subs. It's like, I don't care if you make $20 million or if you're the all-star, whatever. If guys are not ready to play, especially late in the season when they're playing for something, like that Atlanta game was very disappointing. You're missing Trae Young and DeAndre Hunter, 2 starters. They're coming in with a new coach who hasn't even been there 30 games. And it's set up for you a home game after playing such a great come from behind against one of the premier teams in the Western Conference in Memphis Grizzlies to basically just get out hustled and outplayed against Atlanta Hawk team that just outworks you.
And for your star player to say they wanted it more than us after the game.
Exactly.
That one was a big deal. That one was a big deal to where you say, how can that be in game 79? You're saying that the other team, without 2 of their best players, wants it more than you on your home floor. Stacey, that's the old school stuff that you can speak to a lot more than I can as a former player in this league. Like, I don't understand how that happens at this level.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, total mystery. And obviously – it looks like they're going to play the Raptors in Toronto next Wednesday in the play-in first round. That's a terrible matchup for them because the Raptors have that length, the switchability that can really frustrate Zach and DeMar. Assuming they don't advance to the regular playoffs, Darnell, I know Bulls fans are anticipating major changes this summer. What do you expect from the front office when we get to the point where they have to really take a hard look at this roster?
It's an interesting question, Mark, and it's something that I wanted to write for a few probably weeks now, where I just hope that they are not blinded by this strong finish and say, let's run it back and see what continuity gets us again. Maybe re-sign Patrick Beverly, plug him into that Lonzo Ball spot and say, maybe a third season of this core now that they know who they are and what they can do together. I just don't think that would be the way to go. I anticipate big changes coming for this franchise. If they don't come, if it doesn't happen, then I'm going to be asking a lot of tough questions to Arturas Karnisovas, Mark Eversley, Billy Donovan, crew, because it's clear that I think this core has reached its ceiling.
One of the things that frustrates me and it frustrates a lot of people, Darnell, is the fact that a guy like Vucevic can get 18 and a quarter, and a half, 19 and a half, and only get 2 touches or 3 shots in the second half. And I attribute to a lot of it is that, like, guys think like, okay, he's got his, now I'm going to go get mine and I'm going to play this way. We're going to do more isolation ball. I just don't understand. Hey, at this point in the season, you don't say to yourself, like, hey, we got a big dude down here that's going to work. He's scoring on Anthony Davis. He's scoring on some of the best big men in the game and really working out down there. Why is that not a focus especially late game, and especially Darnell when they have hard time scoring. They go stretches where they don't score for 6 or 7 minutes, and they don't even look to throw the ball into the post.
Yeah, but bigger than that, Stacey, not to ignore your question, but this is a team that has proven itself capable of going out there and getting 30 assists, 35 assists when they play a certain way, and they generally win those games. And so why wouldn't this team see that formula and say, when we play this way, regardless of who the ball goes through, when we play this way and everyone's getting a touch, everyone's getting an opportunity, and the ball is really moving, that's when we're at our best. That's the part that I don't get.
Well, Darnell, back in the day, you were critical of Hoiberg for not holding players accountable. Do you think that's the same problem now?
Well, Billy Donovan, you can just look at his history and say, with Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Chris Paul, he's had some players in his brief coaching NBA career. I think this is what his 7th, 8th season now. So he's had some star players, and throughout his career, he's had questions about whether or not he's getting the most out of those star players, or if the star players are sort of the straw that stirs the drink. And so I don't think it's unfair to question whether or not Billy Donovan is capable of pulling the best out of Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic, and DeMar DeRozan. But at some point, those guys got to take accountability too. That's how I would answer it.
Hey, Darnell.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you on that because, I look at it like you have 3 guys, 2 guys that are current all-stars, and you have one that was an all-star. Those are your 3 best players. Your 3 best players set the tone of how the team is going to play because there are so many young players. If your 3 best players are not your hardest workers and they're not out there, and I'm not talking about off the court. I'm talking about on the court, defensively, getting after guys and, playing tough defense, being where you're supposed to be on assignment, then how can you motivate, these younger guys? You know what I'm saying?
And I do give DeMar especially credit. He might still lead the team in charges.
Yes.
So he's gone out and shown effort. Zach LaVine showed, he even said a couple of weeks ago, I don't know what you guys made of it, that he feels like he's one of the better ISO man defenders in this league. And so those guys are showing moments, but it's the inconsistency that drives you crazy when you say, how can you let a team on your home floor get out to a 15-0 run, 17-0 run? That's the stuff that's just inexcusable.
Darnell, you referenced Billy working in Oklahoma City with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. There was a lot of speculation around the All-Star break after Russ got bought out of his deal with Utah that he might come to Chicago. You got a chance to cover Russ for a while in Oklahoma City when you were working down there. What were your thoughts about that? Were you hoping that he'd come here, or did you think that there's no way he's coming here off that 6-game losing streak going into the All-Star break?
No, I just felt with him being an LA guy, that would probably be his first choice, to stay with the LA team and sign with the Clippers and stay home. And that's what happened. But the Bulls, for his standpoint, I thought maybe would have been a great opportunity because it would have been a chance to go into next season as the bona fide starter as well with Lonzo Ball being out. So, I think it's worked out well for him. It's worked out well for the Bulls with Patrick Beverley and getting him having an opportunity to spur on his hometown team and push them into this play-in tournament. So I think it's worked out well for both sides.
Darnell, talk a little bit about the young players for the Bulls, Kobe White and Patrick Williams, who I think have really played well, especially in the second half. Kobe is starting to show you that he could be a guy, a viable point guard option with the way he's played, the way he comes in and runs the team. The big thing I've noticed this year in his game is ball handling, number one, and his defense. Those 2 things he has really, really improved on. So touch a little bit on those 2 young players.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about both of them, but Kobe especially, because I just asked him last night if he still sees himself or aspires to be a starting point guard in this league. And his response was, hell yeah. So that story is going into the Athletic Friday morning. So you can read the whole story there. And Billy Donovan talked about what Kobe, how close he is to snatching that starting point guard role in this league, whether it's with or without the Bulls. So, Kobe still sees himself, and he has put in the work. I think that's what the story is going to show, is that he came into this summer saying he wanted to get stronger and work on his ball handling. If you go back to his exit interview last season, he said both of those things, and those are the two things that you just mentioned, Stacey, where his strength has allowed him to become a better defender and hold his own a little bit more, whether it's in the pick and roll or in the post. And then offensively, the ball handling, you've been mentioning it all season, pointing it out at various occasions. So you're just seeing it a lot tighter than it used to be, and it's allowing him to be able to create plays off the dribble better than he was before.
NBA playoffs start on April 15th. It's going to be wild. I think it's kind of wide open in both conferences. Am I crazy, Darnell, to think that the Lakers could make a run if they're healthy?
I don't want to have a recency bias, but last night, that was a pivotal game. And, they
were coming off an overtime game in Utah, and LeBron looked dead on his feet in the first half.
Good point. Thank you for that context, Mark. But, I actually said the same thing when we were just in L.A. When the Bulls beat them. I guess that was a Sunday afternoon game. So I do think that the Lakers made some great acquisitions at the deadline. I give Rob Pelinka a lot of credit because they looked dead in the water, and he went out there and really transformed that team. So I do think if they can get in and remain healthy, they're going to be in good shape.
I don't know.
You don't believe it?
I don't know because, first of all, they do have some good young talent, but Darvin Ham, he refuses to play a lot of those younger kids that they acquired.
Stacey, when we were out there and he didn't play Rui, and I'm seeing Wenyen Gabriel and the Vanderbilt, they had combined for 3 points and 3 rebounds. I'm saying Rui can play better than both of these guys.
Yes.
Why is Darvin Ham not playing him?
And the kid from San Antonio, they got Lonnie
Walker.
Lonnie Walker, who had played well when they brought him there, and then all of a sudden he's not in the lineup anymore. So that was one of the issues. That was one of the problems of the Lakers when they got LeBron anyway. They got rid of all those young players that have now gone off into the NBA and become stars. And they had LeBron just been a little patient, LeBron the GM, been a little bit more patient with those younger players, they might be then putting a run together right now with those guys.
Yeah, but Stacey, did you want to be patient as a player?
Hey, listen. hey, listen. I have Michael Jordan, so there was no need to be patient. It was already there. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, but with LeBron's case is, look at other players like Josh Hart, Julius Randle. They had Brooke Lopez, who's now in
Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball. You had all these guys on that roster. Kyle Kuzma. You had all these guys on the roster. If you would just gave them a year or two, if the Lakers would have just gave them a year or two instead of that win now mentality, that team could have probably put a couple of title runs together.
They're like the Bulls.
In their defense, they did get one. And one is better than none. And so you'll take the one that you get over the hypothetical, maybe we'll get 2, 3, 4. I'll take the one all day.
Oh, so you got that mentality like, I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today.
So you don't like the Lakers. You like Kevin Durant and the Suns. You like Golden State. You like Denver. Who do you like in the West?
Going back to my time with KD and OKC, it's hard to count that guy out, especially Chris Paul. I covered Chris Paul before I covered Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City. And so, I've got a long history with both of those guys. And I'll never count either one of them out. And the fact that they're now teammates and teamed with Devin Booker, one of the baddest scorers in this league, that's a dangerous team. And I like a lot of what Monty Williams is about and how he conducts himself as a coach. I didn't like the DeAndre Ayton situation with him, but I look at Phoenix coming out of the West and that team we saw last night against the Bulls in Milwaukee. I walked in that locker room and I saw all of the names around the locker room, and I'm like, this team is going to make it to the finals, Eastern Conference Finals for sure. Boston might have something to say about it, but I'm looking at Phoenix and I'm looking at Milwaukee coming.
Yeah, I watched that team last night, And I was like, oh my God, like they are one of the deepest teams in the NBA. People talk about Boston. Unless Robert Williams is coming back and they know he's coming back, that is a huge, huge loss for Boston. Rim protection, backline defense player. Milwaukee last night without Giannis and Connaughton, who's a 3-point shooter, Grayson Allen, they just replaced those guys. You got Drake Crowder, you got Ingles, guys who are playoff ready now. There's guys who've been in the wars. I'm telling you, that looked like a really, really good team. And Drew Holiday, I've always been a Drew Holiday fan. Most underrated point guard in the league. I would put him, honestly, and we said this last night, both me and Adam, I would say he's arguably the best point guard, pure point guard in the league with what he does for a team. Giannis gets all the attention. Middleton is the guy who gets some attention, but no one really talks about Drew Holiday. But when you watch him play, man, you walk away going, man, that is a very good basketball player.
Yeah, two things. We're doing a player poll, an anonymous player poll, and I'll give you guys a little sneak preview. A lot of the guys I talked to for this player poll, when the question of the most underrated player in the league came up, Drew Holiday was the name that a lot of players pointed to. So you can tell the respect that he has among his peers. And then the other thing is we just did a little Central Division roundtable discussion at the Athletic, and our Detroit Pistons writer, Stacey, you'll appreciate that. Our Detroit Pistons writer, he actually had Zach LaVine over Drew Holiday. And I said, if we're having like a Central Division, all Central Division team, I'm taking Drew Holiday over Zach LaVine because of the two-way effort that he puts in night in and night out. And, I agree with you. Drew Holiday is one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated.
Is that Vinny Goodwill?
When you were doing that list, is that by position, or are you saying the best 5 players?
I think we did 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a big man, like a center. I think we kept the traditional center in there.
Okay. So yeah, that would be interesting because I'm starting off and I'm going to guards. I'm starting off with Drew Holiday, number 1. I'm starting off with him. After that, we can. There's an argument somewhere, but him and Giannis are on that team. And then you got to remember too, you got Donovan Mitchell, that could be there with Zach and DeMar. You got, oh Lord.
Halliburton, the list goes on.
I forgot about Tyrese Halliburton. Oh man. Oh yeah, man. Oh hey, bro. Like that's not that is a hard argument because the fact that you're going by traditional way. You got the guards, the forward, and the center. Yeah, if you were just pick the 5 best players, I think that would be a lot easier than doing it the way you guys are doing it. But I like the way you guys are doing it. I like the picking the center because there's some guys in this league. I think Brook Lopez in the Central Division is the best center, in my opinion.
It made for great debate, and it also kind of gave us a preview of what the Bulls are up against just in the Central Division alone as they try to rebuild this thing and try to get it going in the right direction.
You got to remember too, Detroit without Cade Cunningham, when they get that team together with them 2 young boys, Duran and then the kid Ivy is showing you he's got star potential. They're going to be a problem in a few years. And now we're not even talking about Central Division. We talk about overall. Look what Orlando's going to be in a few years. There's a lot of young teams that are on the rise. Ooh,
yeah, and if the Pistons get Wembanyama, then look out. Whoever gets Wembanyama,
we might get him. We might get him in Chicago, baby.
The lottery's in Chicago. We got to fix that thing.
Hey, we've been known to do it, baby. We've been known to do it. Put a cold envelope in there, a la Patrick Ewing.
Hey, Darnell, before we let you go, I know you got a new project that I want you to tell the folks about. It's called Money Talks. It's on Substack.com, and you're trying to help people become rich. We all want that advice. What do you got for us, Darnell?
Yeah, Money Talks 101.substack.com. It's an independent project that I'm doing. Just, as I became a father, I really wanted to lay a foundation for my daughter. She's 9 now. We started talking about money, and that's why I call it Money Talks, because we have these money talks in our home. And I really want and need her to understand money management and how to be smart with money as she maneuvers through her life. And, there's so much that I wasn't taught. And as I'm learning, I'm teaching her, and we're learning together. Hopefully we can help others learn on our journey. So we're just chronicling our journey and trying to put out some basic stuff for the everyday person, man, and talk about what it's like to try to be smarter with our earning and our spending, learn how to save and invest.
Whispers, that's for you. How many businesses have you gone through?
I don't know, a few hundred. Hey, Darnell, did you miss your punching bag, Jim Boylan?
No.
That's right to the point. Yeah.
I like that.
I saw some. I was watching League Pass. Where were the Bulls? They were somewhere. I wasn't on the road with them recently, and I think it was halftime, and they started showing all of these old practice highlights. Jim Boylan. I'm like, did you have to do this? Did you have to put me through this again?
Well, I've used your line. I've used your line that you said about him on Some People I Know, that his biggest accomplishment was just getting the job.
Wow.
12 years. And I know you guys saw the Tim Floyd era and all of that, but I've never seen such a rough stretch of a franchise than the Jim Boylan era. That was hard.
What was even worse was when NBA TV gave him an audition as an analyst. That was even rougher to watch.
He's got a good agent.
I listen.
What's his number?
Hey, listen. All I'm gonna say about that is he lost me when he compared, Robert Horry to Luke Cornett.
Yeah.
That's when he lost me.
Yeah.
That's when he lost me. D. He lost me right there.
This is the soundbite of the season, Stacey. You provided the soundbite of.
Stacey couldn't even stifle the laugh on that one. Yeah.
Do you guys remember the worst thing Darnell said about him?
That was the worst thing I'd ever heard in my life, and I just couldn't believe he even said that, and he even got on the air. I was like, who interviewed him? And Layla Rahimi did it, and she couldn't even see it with a straight face when she brought it up to me and Neil.
Yeah, she caught the crossfire.
She wanted to laugh.
but Darnell called him once a bully, a bullshitter, and a sycophant.
Oh, my goodness.
Those are good words.
I had to go look it up.
Well
I was having a good Thursday night, gentlemen.
I loved that stuff back then. I was like, man, because I couldn't stand Jim Boylan either.
Hey, at least you didn't have to punch a clock, baby. You have to punch a clock and punch in, baby. And do push-ups every day, right? You didn't have to do that.
Well, Darnell, we'll let you enjoy your sunset in San Francisco. Thank you so much for making time for us. We want everybody to check out. Tell them again how they can find Money Talks.
I'm at Substack, moneytalks101.substack.com.
All right, check that out for some financial advice that you can put to work.
Got some hot sauce coming again?
Yeah, some hot sauce heading your way.
Got some more.
I'll take it. My daughter's ready for it.
There you go.
Business 256.
Darnell Mayberry, our special guest, episode 124. Give me the hot sauce. It promises to be a very interesting offseason in Chicago Bulls land. Thanks, Darnell. We'll talk to you soon. Welcome back. Give me the hot sauce rolls on. Timmy Whispers is back from his vacation down in Florida. You said the weather was warm, and you had two families staying in your home. How did that work out?
It was great.
Maddie was there too, right?
That's right. Yeah. She
got any stories, adventures?
Well,
you guys go out to the bars, the clubs?
We went out clubbing big time. A lot of shots, a little heroin. We were doing it up.
Hey, come on, man. This is a children's show.
Yeah.
Come on,
I'm
man.
sorry. No, we didn't actually touch that stuff, but we did. We did think about
all
it.
Sponsors. Thanks,
Hey.
Smith.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
We were in Fort Myers, not Miami.
Yeah.
So it wasn't too bad. But yeah, like I said, a little sunburn. I'm not as red as I usually am because a full layer
Odyssey
fell
online
off.
too. Odyssey online too.
Did your buddy Christopher Walken make it down? Was he part of the?
Yeah, I was there too, but I wasn't invited to the beach because I'd burn like in 2 seconds.
Did you bring some hot sauce with you, Chris?
I use that as suntan lotion. It's awesome.
Chicago Fire.
It turns you red hot in 2 seconds. You don't even need the sun.
Tell the folks how they can get some.
Well, look behind me, Mark. What do you see?
I see a nice display. Where's that going?
That's right. That's for Jewel. But now they told us it's just going on the shelves, so I guess I wasted my time.
The shelves will be good. The shelves are good for you. The pool or the pond, you know.
That's right. A pool in the pond. And by
Pond
the
would be
way,
good for you.
sweater looks good on you, Mark. So go to GimmeTheHotSauce.com. Get some sauce. 21% off with code KING21. That's right. 21% off.
and packed with love by Timmy the Hot Sauce Packer.
Yeah, he's still packing. It's about the only skill the guy's got.
Skip. I'm a Hall of Famer, Skip. Get you some hot sauce. I'm the best hot sauce you ever tasted. Skip, let me tell you something. Lamar Jackson is the greatest quarterback of all time. He got some hot sauce, too. Yes, Skip, he did. I'm Shannon Sharp. I'm Hall of Famer.
You got a lot of good feedback on that one, Stacey. That was the talk of social media for a couple of days. That was great. People enjoyed that.
I had to, Mark, because he was talking trash to Pat Beverly. Man, you can't talk trash to the little big man without me coming to help him. Come on now.
You got to do the too small now.
Oh yeah, he was too small, man. Too small. But they got Patrick Beverly back in Chicago, man. Austin Reeves, my fellow Sooner, he got him back, man.
Yeah.
Oh, he did.
Hey, speaking of gestures that sometimes can be taken the wrong way, how about the trash talking in the women's NCAA final? That was really hot for a couple of days. I mean, you had people with strong opinions all over the place when really it shouldn't have been that big of a deal. Stacey, what was your take on the whole thing?
To me, it was stupid. I mean, this is basketball. It's competition. People are trying to beat each other. The girl Caitlin from Iowa, she's a baller, man. Yeah. I mean, that girl is unbelievable. And she was talking trash. She did the "you can't see me" thing to the girl in Louisville who was talking trash the girl from Louisville, I forgot her name, was talking trash to another team. And so it's all in spirit, man. I mean, everybody thinks that women should play a certain way. You put them in a box. Well, they have to be – they can't talk trash. They can't be physical. They can't do this. They can't do that. They're athletes. At the end of the day, they're athletes. Let them play. They're no different than guys. They have emotions. They let it out on the court. Let them play, man. And as long as Caitlin didn't have a problem with it, then what was the problem? Because I saw an interview with her today. Before I got on the plane – and she had an interview, I think it was ESPN, and she said she had no problem with it.
Right.
She welcomes it. I don't know. She said, I don't know why everybody got upset. This is what we do. You talk trash. It was all in fun. And it wasn't malicious. She didn't call her the B word or curse her out. The girl just gave her the same thing she gave to somebody else. You can't see me and then you can see my ring. So I like it. I think it amped up women's sports.
Yeah, you never talked trash, did you?
And I talk big trash. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you right now. Okay, and I take that back. Okay, let me say this: I didn't talk trash unless you start talking to me. If you start talking to me, I remember we played Louisiana Tech in the NCAA tournament, the Sweet 16 for the trip to the Sweet 16, and I was playing against Randy White. He was supposed to be the next Karl Malone.
Yeah. And
so it was kind of reincarnation, Wayman Tisdale versus Karl Malone. They had played against each other in the NCAA tournament. And then here I am at Oklahoma, and he's at, Louisiana Tech, Randy White. Now it's like the second coming, basically. And he was talking trash in the press conference. They send 5 starters to the press conference, and then the other team has to wait for that team to get off. So we're sitting in the back. And he's just talking trash, like he's gonna do this to me. I'm not good. I'm overrated. All this stuff. Well, I commenced to give him 40. Okay. And at the end of the game, I said, I was like Cassius Clay, when the guy said, I'm not going to call you Muhammad Ali, I'm going to call you Cassius, is one of those things too. Now, do you respect me? You take that 40 piece and take some of my hot sauce that hadn't been created yet and put it on there.
Yeah, a lot of trash talking going on back in the day. It's not something that all of a sudden happened. I think, Stacey, the thing that was really got ugly was when people were bringing up the racial component. I mean, Angel Reese,
my God,
in her post-game news conference talking about you want to put me in a box and calling me ghetto and all this stuff. That's where it really got ugly on both sides.
There's always a faction of people that want to throw a race card in there. That's what makes sports so dirty. It's like it's not a black or white thing. Okay, you had the kid from Iowa. She was talking trash. She's a hooper. She backed it up. She's one of the all-time great women's college players of all time. The girl was dropping 40 pieces like it wasn't nothing. Okay, it wasn't like she was just hitting 140 and that was like a career high. She's been dropping 40 since she's been in college and women's college basketball. So give her respect. She's a great player. She's talking trash. And the girl, I think the biggest thing was with the girl from LSU was stalking her, talking trash. And I said again, as long as the girl Caitlin didn't have a problem with it, then no one else should have had a problem with it. Move on. Stop using race as a vehicle to cause problems. It's not always about race. It has nothing to do. It had nothing to do with being black and white. It was about two girls going at it. They're respectable universities playing for the national championship, and one razzing the other one at the end. I mean, it's all it came down to.
Stacey could be a statesman. Look at that.
Look at that.
You know what?
Bring the world together.
I might have to dive into politics, Mark. I'm thinking about, maybe running for mayor.
You could have won that race.
Yeah,
hey, listen.
Sure.
After I saw that race, I probably could have.
Jeez.
Just make sure you get your Modelo at Walgreens.
Hey, Lori Lightfoot online too. She said she's tired of you guys talking trash about her. You know, she buys good beer. She's not buying no bad beer, Pabst Blue Ribbon or anything like that.
She's not a lion anymore.
Pabst a sponsor. I'm sorry if you're. I'm sorry.
No, not last check. But I will tell you about a great sponsor, our friends at Biggers Mazda. They sponsor one of our favorite segments. It's What Are We Watching, where we give you some great tips on TV shows and movies. And Stacey's been watching a lot of movies. We're going to get to that in just a second. But first, I want to tell you about our friends at Biggers Mazda. Their sizzling new Elgin location at Randall Road is the biggest Mazda store in the state of Illinois. Biggers is now offering a bottle of Stacey's signature hot sauce with first test drives of new or pre-owned vehicles. It's your choice, everything from the coolest SUVs to the stunning Miata. So join the fun at 2100 Randall Road in Elgin. It's at Biggers Mazda. Tell them the Gimme the Hot Sauce crew sent you, and they'll give you a free bottle of hot sauce. Take a test drive, right, Tim?
That's right. You can drink it.
Tim adding a lot to that read.
You can drink it. You can drink it while you're driving.
Tim's like,
no drinking and driving.
The only drinking and driving there.
All right, so Stacey, we had a little production call yesterday, and you said you've been busy watching some films. What do you got for the folks that you either recommend or didn't like?
Okay, first movie. I don't know if I can't see you guys. I'm in the dark in the sunken place.
Right.
Get out.
Witness protection.
One of them was Cocaine Bear. Oh my God! I'm telling you, I saw Cocaine Bear the other day. At first I thought it was going to be stupid. I wasn't really interested in watching it, but some of my friends said, "Man, check it out. You'll laugh. It's funny. It's got some gory parts in it, whatever." And I tell you what, it was. Go check it out. Go check it out. It's one of those movies that's so unrealistic that it's
so
funny.
bad it's good.
Yeah, exactly. It was funny though. I recommend that one. What's my other list out there? What else did I have on there?
You had Creed 3.
Oh, okay.
Cut me, Rock.
Listen. Let me tell you something. No, cut it out, Rock. Yeah. Okay. Creed 3. I don't know if anybody saw it. Spoiler alert. It's terrible. I didn't like it at all. All the Creed movies are basically, they're good movies. I like Creed 1 was good. I like Creed, the first one. I think that Ryan Coogler should have done this. I think Michael B. Jordan directed this one, and it just wasn't a good movie. I give it, maybe 1 star. I didn't really like it. I thought the fight scenes looked fake, not like they normally do. And I think that
like
the
original Rockies.
Huh?
Fake like the original Rockies.
No, the Rockies look pretty good, man. Rockies look pretty good, man. But I will say that I was a little disappointed in it. I just, you can't. All the Creed movies are just like Rocky. They have the same kind of thing. If you go, a lot of this generation didn't watch Rocky, okay? But if you saw Rocky and you grew up watching Rocky and all the Rocky movies, the Creed movies are basically Rocky movies with the word Creed on it.
Yeah,
so you have this character. This character in this fight is Mr. T in Rocky.
Right. That's to overcome adversity, get knocked down, get back up. Here we go. Play the music.
Yes.
Well, it's great.
And a guy who's fighting from the streets. Career taken away. He wants what Creed's got. The rich and all that stuff. Very similar to
Clubber Lang.
Mr. T. Okay, and then you had the Russian in Creed 2, who was Drago. They brought Drago's dad to train him, and then so you had that Rocky Balboa, fight in Rocky 4.
Yeah, in Russia. Yeah.
So what you're saying is
Siberia.
So what you're saying is in Creed 5, he's going to fight Tommy Morrison's kid from the prostitute.
He'd be a punch-drunk fighter trying to help somebody
Tommy Morrison's kid.
Yeah.
In Creed 5, it's probably going to be back. They're going to probably try to bring back somebody who looks like Burgess Meredith, and he's going to train him because Rocky is nowhere in this picture. I don't know where did he die. I don't know what happened to him, but he's nowhere in this film, which he should be. He should be in that film. And I know they want to kind of distance themselves away from the Rocky franchise, but you can't have this franchise without Rocky because Rocky was one of his father's best friends. He was there when he died. Rocky helped train the young Creed when he first started. And to not have Rocky in this movie in any aspect, not even a picture, you don't even talk about him. It's like, they just forgot he existed, is a shame because Sylvester Stallone he made that franchise, man. He should be in it some
We
capacity.
got the plot then, Stace. We got to get this out to Hollywood. So when he stepped out on Adrian, he had a kid, and then he fights actually Rocky's kid from L.A.
And you know what? That's why you would never win an Oscar. No one will ever see your movie, Tim. That's the dumbest premise I've ever seen in my life.
It's a good idea.
It'll be the ghost of Rocky in Creed 5.
No, Rocky 5 could be actually a one round fight between Creed and Rocky. Rocky's 90 years old.
In a wheelchair?
Yeah, in a wheelchair. And you can hear Burgess, the ghost of Burgess Meredith.
Overcoming
you can't
IBS.
win, Rock. He's too fast. He's too fast. Hit the one in the middle, Rock.
Hey, since we're throwing numbers around, you said you also saw John Wick 4. What did you think of that?
Oh. Let me tell you something. America. John Wick reminded me of my driver, Mike Amaral. Mike Amaral, I know you listen out there. You're always your loyal listener. Mike, he's John Wick. He reminds me of that. I've seen him do some of the things, but John Wick has to be part of Marvel now. He has to be part of a superhero group because I'm telling you, there's no way in hell this dude can take the bullets that he takes. He fights 100 people at a time. He falls out of like 10-story buildings on his neck, and he gets up and walks off. Like he's almost like Deadpool. Like he's like Deadpool. And he shakes his leg. It looks like his leg's dislocated. He shakes his leg pops back into shape. He's running. He's fighting 100 people with knives and guns, and he never gets hit. He didn't get hit. He didn't get shot, but one time in the movie after all this. One time.
He could fight Creed in Creed 4.
Oh, good.
He
call.
probably would win. And then my man, I don't know if how are you guys familiar with John Wick, all the movies, but the hotel concierge, the Lance, he passed away in real life.
Yeah.
And then it added to the theory that I always said that when you watch these movies and if there's any black guy out there, they always die. They never make it to the end. And he died in the first 2 minutes of the movie. I'm like, come on, man. Can we at least get him to the middle of the movie before you kill him off? Come on, man. Come on, man.
That ain't right.
He was a vital part. He was a vital part of that movie. He was a vital part of that movie. I hate to see him go out like that, but John Wick, I'm telling you, go see John Wick. The action's unbelievable. It's awesome, but man, they need to go ahead and make John Wick put him in there with the Black Panther, Captain America, and let him wear that little black suit with the black tie. That's his superhero outfit, and just let him go out there and do that.
Hey, speaking of action flicks, I had to check out the movie that won the Academy Award for Best Film, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. It was everything, everywhere, all over the place. I mean, that movie was crazy. It should have deserved awards for visual editing and effects and everything because this woman's just jumping into multiple universes. Speaking of the Marvel universes, the action is amazing, the editing is incredible, but the story is just basically about a woman trying to save a relationship with her daughter, but she's going through multiple universes to get it done. It was a lot of work to get very little done. So not a big recommendation for that.
Sounds like this podcast.
Oh, come on now.
Wow.
Oh.
Not only did we lose sponsors, we just lost for the rest of the day. We've been known to get rid of dead weight, Mark. We've been known to do it. We've been known to put him in a trash bag, put him on the side of the road. Well, America, if you don't see Timmy Whispers next week, you know why. Christopher Walken won't be there either. They'll both be gone.
Speaking of dead weight, I saw The Whale.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Tell us about that.
Well, I haven't eaten since. That's for sure. It was brutal. It's well
Get the
done.
picture up on the screen. Brendan Fraser won the award, didn't he?
Yeah, he put on
Best
like
actor?
a 1,900-pound fat suit. It was unbelievable.
What was the movie about, Tim? Give us a little description.
Yeah. He's basically a college teacher who's just teaching from home, but he's so fat he can't really get off the couch. And just gorges himself with food and puts Snickers bars on pizzas and throws them down with mayonnaise on top of that. I mean, they have these scenes that.
Oh, that's
and then he
not
pukes in
comfortable.
a garbage basket. And it doesn't end. And he basically just is trying to kill himself through passive suicide.
We apologize if you're eating while you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, if you happen to have a Snickers right now and you're trying to get away,
Yeah,
you might
and
want to throw that
then
around.
he didn't throw any of our hot sauce on, but that would have finished him off, I think, earlier. So, but yeah, it's a well done but disturbing film.
Oh, my goodness. So what's your buddy Mike up to since it's time to talk about Windy City Limousine? You seen him since you've been back?
Okay, so Mike right now is on a hiatus. He had a little accident in his car. His radiator exploded, and
Oh, man. Is he all right?
Yeah, he's okay now. It was a gate. A gate hit his car on the wrong. It hit it just right.
Yeah.
And so it hit his radiator. So he had radiator leakage in it. So he had to put the Mike Amaroth mobile away. And I've had to he's been out of commission, so I've had to find my second driver, who's
John
he's
Wick?
No, he might as well be. He might as well
Brian
be Mark.
Wick.
Hey, Brian Wick. That's what he took us to. He took us to the game last night, and he's a big, strong guy, man. He's a big, strong guy. So we felt safe walking around with him yesterday in Milwaukee, and real good guy. Brian Hennigan, I think Hennigan's his last name, and he's my second driver in command. Matter of fact, he might be bigger than Mike. He legitimately looks like he can beat people up. I gave him a code name today, because I'm all about the snake. So, my code name, my spy name, shout out to Siren. That's my little podcast friend. She's out there, code name Siren. So I got a code name Venom. And then we gave our band Brian code name White Mamba, because he's really pale and pasty. So
I could teach him how to get
so
burned.
we gave him the White Mamba, baby. Gave him the White Mamba, so he's the White Mamba. That's his code name. But shout out to Mike. He's gonna get his car back probably in a couple of days, and we'll be back to doing it again. Hopefully the Bulls can get to the playoffs, and I'll be able to use them. And if not, I'll still be using them when we come out to do the podcast every week.
Yeah, if you're looking for transportation to a big event in your life, if you're going to an athletic game, if you're going out to see a theater production, wherever you're going, make sure to call our friends at Windy City Limousine. They'll break the full court pressure of traffic and get you to your destination in style and on time. Contact Windy City Limousine at 847-916-9300. Want to thank our great Sriracha crew for doing great work. Want to welcome aboard Tom, who's helping us out with audio. Nice to have you on the team.
Thanks, Tommy.
Maddie's back from Florida. She's got a tan, looking good. And Stacey will be back in studio next week after the Bulls play-in game. Hopefully we're talking about moving on to the playoffs. That'd be fun.
That would be a lot of fun.
There you go.
I think we can do it, Mark. I think I'm not losing hope. I know it seems like I know a lot of people are a little nervous right now, but I think the Bulls will put their A game on and at least get to the playoff round and meet the Milwaukee Bucks again.
Keep hope alive. That's what we're saying here on Gimme the Hot Sauce.
That's
Stacey,
right.
good luck on the call in Dallas, and we'll see you when you get back to Chicago.
All right, boys. Drive home safely. Be beat.
Oh my goodness! It's only preseason, but I'm hyped. Neil Thought, Jimmy G buckets gets buckets. Oh my goodness! Give me the hot sauce, Neil Thought. Give me the hot sauce.
What are you doing, Dragic? Did you not get the memo? Derrick Rose can go upstairs. Woo!
Let me step back and kiss myself. MVP time. Windy City Assassin does it again.